Hello everyone and welcome to the Yellow Jacket Guide. My name is Rayhana and this is episode 1 of the Yellow Jacket Guide podcast. Thank you all for listening and watching. And the reason why I wanted to start this podcast is because I am going through a life transition. It is August, it's almost the end of the year, and I feel like I reached a lot of the goals that I set out in the beginning of 2025, but also I feel like I've been slacking a lot with a lot of the goals and plans that I had. So in this stage of readjusting, resetting my goals, I wanted to, share a bit of that with you all. And how traveling, solo traveling, and getting to know myself is really helping, guide that experience forward. I am a self-proclaimed solo traveler, backpacker, and that's just really a part of my personality. Like if you ask any of my friends, they're like, oh, where's Rayhana going to next? It's like, hi Rayhana, where's the next adventure you're going on? And I'm just like, I'm more than that, but also clock it. Like I love to travel. And for episode 1 of this podcast, I wanted to talk about my favorite aspect of traveling, which is solo traveling. And solo traveling, like it's defined in the name, is making a trip and you're alone. You're trying to navigate a new place by yourself. And for a lot of people, that can be very jarring, very like, why would you do that? Like if I'm going on a trip, why would I decide to be by myself? But actually, solo traveling, it changes something within you. So that's what we're going to get into today. But a little bit about me and my experience solo traveling. So in 2021, it was still the pandemic. I was still trying to, figure out like what's going on. Was it safe to go outside? But I was feeling so cramped in the house. I was like, I don't have any space. It was just like the house was caving in inside of me. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like I need to escape. So I actually saw a travel content creator and she was all about solo travel. Shout out to Pax Light. She really encouraged me to be like, oh, solo travel and go out and about and see the world for yourself. So I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I can do this, because if she can do it, I can do it. And she just makes it seem like it's such a fun time. So I was like, where should I go? It's still the pandemic, so I don't want to go, or I can't really go to another country right now. So where should I go? Where's somewhere I've always been, urging to go to? And I was like, I want to go to Miami. I've never been in Miami before. It's been on my spring break bucket list. And I just feel like Miami is one of those places where it's like, you can't really go wrong. Right? Okay, so I booked the flight. I booked the Airbnb. I literally told my parents the day before. I was like, hey, by the way, I'm going to Miami tomorrow. You can't stop me. Because I was like, this is who I am. This is who I am now. So like, you can't stop me. So they were like, oh my gosh, Rayhana, are you okay? Like, do we need to have a conversation? Because this is not normal behavior. And I was just like, I have to go. So I booked the Spirit flight and I booked a trip to Miami, Florida. And when I tell you I had the best time, I stayed in Little Havana at an Airbnb. I kind of had my own little guest house area and that was really fun. And then I traveled around Miami. The metro was free, so I didn't have to really pay for transportation. I'm from a city, so getting on public transportation was not a big deal for me. It was very clean. I actually met like a lady on the bus and we were like chatting it up for a little bit. I went to the movies by myself. I went on a yacht by myself, and it was just like a very fun time and like a very big escape from my very mundane COVID lifestyle. And I was just like, this is living. And plus the beaches were amazing. So all of that to say, solo traveling can really just recenter who you are and make you reflect on the person that you want to be. And ever since that trip, I've been on multiple solo trips. I've been to Peru by myself. I've been to Panama alone. And I went to Scotland alone. And it was just an amazing time. Sometimes you just need time to yourself. And I feel like a lot of times we don't get that opportunity. So why would you want to solo travel? And that's really what the meat and bones of this episode is why is solo traveling good for you? So I told you why it's good for me, but why is it good for you? So I wrote a few hot points, and these are my travel tips of the day. So number 1, solo travel makes you very comfy with yourself. I feel like a lot of the times, I mentioned this a bit, but a lot of times we're stuck in a routine. We are taking care of family, we have siblings, or we have kids, and you never get a chance to really sit down and say, who am I? Like, is this the person who my high school or like childhood self thought I would become right now? And a lot of times you just keep going and going through life and you never get a chance to really know like who you are. I think it's really frustrating sometimes because you have a vision for your life. And of course things always change and pivot, but you never get a chance to really like sit down and reflect on your own, life and what you want to do and maybe some things that you want to change. So solo travel really makes you sit down and focus and get uncomfortable with yourself. Like, are you comfortable with eating at a restaurant by yourself? Are you comfortable traveling alone? And if you're not, maybe ask yourself why that's the case. Why do you only feel comfortable around others and not comfortable within your own self? Because you have to go with yourself everywhere. So why aren't you comfortable with that? So solo travel makes you have to reflect and understand, your surroundings and like personal things. That's number 1. Number 2, solo travel definitely puts a highlight on what kind of traveler you are. So for me, I'm an adventure traveler. Like, I want to go on all the hikes. I want to go on a jet ski. I want to go in a parasailing or something like that. But other people aren't that kind of traveler. They're, when they want to stay at the resort, want to go to the beach, stay in the pool, relax at like, a restaurant, something like that. And there's nothing wrong with either one. Either one is perfectly fine. But sometimes I feel like when people are going on vacation or they're going on trips, they're going with other people. And sometimes that's when people may get upset or may have problems with the people they're going on trips with, because you might want to do one thing. You might want to go to the museums, or you might want to go ATV riding, but other people may not want to do that. They maybe just want to club and party, and that's not your thing. So of course, you're going to be a bit upset about that. So when you're solo traveling, you are doing all the things that you want to do, which is honestly my favorite part about solo traveling, because I don't have to focus on anybody else's wants or needs or problems or issues. Like, I want to do what I want to do. So it really makes you figure out, hey, I actually like going to museums, or I actually like sitting by the pool and being uninterrupted, or I really like, going out and going to a random salsa class in Ecuador or something like that, So it just really puts into focus like what kind of traveler you are, and then that can come up in other types of trips that you have planned with other people. Number 3, I think is really important about solo traveling is that it really makes you step out of your comfort zone, because a lot of the times we are, like I said earlier, we're stuck in a routine, and sometimes we're in our bubble, and our bubble is cozy and nice, but you don't really get a chance to try new things, or you maybe don't do things without other people around. So one of the things that I did on my solo trip to Miami, my first solo trip, was I went to the movies by myself. And that might not seem like that big of a deal, but I felt like I never really went to the movies by myself. I always had to go with other people. And then you realize how many movies did I actually want to see that I missed out on because my friends didn't want to go see the Barbie movie, or like they didn't want to see like some obscure indie movie that came out. You know what I'm saying? So you get to kind of do the things that you want to do, and you get to experience things that you missed out on that you might have not even thought that you were missing out on, honestly. So you get to explore things that you would do with other people alone, and that can shift your whole perspective. And a lot of these things that it's not solo travel exclusive. You can take these things and take these confidences and take this newfound section of yourself and bring it into your everyday life. And we love that. We love growth and we love positivity. So that's just, a nice little tidbit about solo traveling. It really does change your perspective on your life. And the last tip that I have is that you get to meet new people and you get to be a little bit more open. I know for me, like if I'm going out with my friends, I'm just focused on my friends. Like I'm going out with them. This is our friend bonding time. I'm not really worried about other people. Like my inner circle are like the main characters of this place or of this event. And I don't really care about the other people that's there. Now, everybody's a little bit different. With solo traveling, you may not want to talk to a lot of people, which is fair. And it's understandable because why would you want to do extra work when you don't have to? And I totally get it. But when you are solo traveling, sometimes you may have to rely on others that you may not have to worry about when you're with your friends or with other people. So I know for myself, I mentioned this earlier, when I was on the metro in Miami, I met this lady and we started talking. We were waiting for the bus and the bus was taking forever. And we were just like, the bus take forever. Oh, what's your plans? What are you doing? Where are you from? Have you been here for a long time? So we just started chatting it up. So I will say with caution, you don't want to give a lot of your personal business away because you never know who's listening, just for safety. But it is okay to be a little bit vulnerable. And that is something that, you get a little bit comfortable with, when you're alone, because sometimes you do have to ask the security manager, where the movie theater is. Or you might have to ask someone at a restaurant, can I use the restroom here, even though I'm not, buying any food or anything. So you have to be a little bit more direct and a little bit more open just to make sure you can get what you need to get out of the situation. And that's what solo traveling is all about. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone, and it's about having new experiences, meeting new people, and taking all of those things that you learn, those new confidences, and bring it back into your everyday life to make your routine a little bit more exciting. So that's why I really love solo travel. I swear by it every time. Like if I, am thinking about going to a place, I'm like, that might be a really great solo travel adventure. And I love that for me, honestly. So I recommend solo traveling every single time. Some of my highlights, Peru was my first international solo trip, and it was amazing. I went to Machu Picchu. I was in Cusco and I was in Lima, and it was just an amazing time. I really enjoyed it, and that really gave me the confidence to go to other places solo. So I went to Panama solo, and that was a really great time. I met people from Facebook groups and met with them, and we had tacos and we danced, and those were really nice. So maybe I'll do a few episodes about my solo trips, but I really hope you enjoyed this episode. That is all the tips and recommendations that I have for today. If you enjoyed this episode, stay tuned for more and let me know what you think would be some interesting topics about traveling. I have a lot in store for this podcast. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.